What do you mean we shouldn't try to conquer humanity? Brackus snapped. They only have 10 supercarriers. We have more than 100. Under Tola's twin sons, I don't see how humans could offer anything more than a sword and surrender if it came to war. Fleetmaster Brackus paused, breathing heavily as he wiped spit from his mandibles. His anger flared again. How dare you speak such defeatist nonsense in front of the Empress? Do you doubt our fleet's strength? Do you really think we couldn't crush them? But he stopped the moment the Empress raised her hand. Her words hung in the air like a command, and Brackus bowed his head, swallowing his fury. As you wish, Your Majesty, he muttered. The Empress stood from her throne and moved closer to the glowing galactic map. In her 1,000 years of rule, she had led the Empire through the defeat of hundreds of species. Stars had risen and fallen under her command, and when one of her most trusted advisors, someone who had served her for over 100 years, spoke of caution, she listened. Go on, Scoutmaster, she said. Scoutmaster Ula bowed his head respectfully before speaking. I still believe the humans only have 10 supercarriers, but I also believe our 167 won't be enough to beat them. Brackus bristled again, his face reddening, but a sharp glance from the Empress silenced him. For now, Ula continued. Let me explain. A supercarrier is defined as a ship that can carry over 100 fighters into battle. With a wave of his hand, the holographic map shifted, displaying the Empire's pride. The System Cracker-class supercarrier, it was the backbone of the Imperial fleet, feared across the stars. 700 meters long, armored with meter-thick stellar steel, powered by 4 antimatter fusion reactors. It carried 150 Janus-class strike fighters, 20 Hulker-bulk transports, and was packed with point defense weapons and a dozen Class 3 railguns. This was once the most feared warship in the galaxy, but not anymore. The display changed again, now showing a completely different ship. Its design was alien, jagged, blocky, and rough. Unlike the Empire's sleek, elegant vessels, this one looked brutal and functional. Weapons were mounted all over its surface. Towers of antennas, sensors, and lights jutted out in every direction. It wasn't beautiful, but it was clearly built for war. Massive blast doors hinted at something powerful hidden inside. The ship's weapon systems alone made it obvious to both the Empress and Fleetmaster Brackus. This was no ordinary vessel, it was a serious threat. This is the UHG Cairo, Scoutmaster, Ula continued. It's 550 meters long, with armor at least as strong as our stellar steel, possibly even stronger. We don't have full intel on its internal systems, but based on intercepted civilian data, we know it runs on multiple antimatter fusion reactors and includes emergency battery backups. He gestured again, bringing up another visual scan of the ship. From what we've observed, it likely carries between 80 to 120 space fighters of various models. By all measures, it qualifies as a supercarrier and one that matches the capabilities of our own System Cracker class. He paused, letting that settle before continuing. Military simulations suggest it would take 5 of these ships to defeat a group of 4 System Crackers, which means, in raw numbers, they're not far behind us. Brackus, now calmer, allowed himself a small smirk and interrupted. I admit these, what did you call them again? Humans, Fleetmaster, right? Humans, yes, their ships are impressive, but, like you said, they only have 10. 10, even if they're strong, will crush them. It may not be as easy as usual, but the Imperial fleet is more than capable. He turned confidently toward the Empress. I'll have the invasion plans drawn up and the fleet ready by week's end. The Empress took one final look at the hologram of the Cairo, considering her words carefully. Very well, she said at last. The humans seem resourceful. They'll make a valuable addition to the Empire. Thank you for your insight, Scoutmaster. Your report was crucial to today's decision. If that's all, but Ula suddenly let out a sharp, clicking breath and raised his head. That is not all. The Empress's eyes narrowed at the sudden interruption. Her royal guards gripped their weapons tightly, and Brackus exploded in rage. In a flash, he had his energy saber at Ula's throat. Let me make an example of this traitor, Brackus growled, his voice like thunder. But the Empress didn't give the order. She looked into Ula's eyes, expecting fear or a desperate plea for forgiveness. But what she saw shocked her. Ula was terrified, but not of her, not of Brackus, not even of the blade threatening to end his life. No. His fear was focused entirely on something behind her. She turned slowly and looked at the holographic display, confused. She asked, "What am I looking at, Ula?" With the saber still hovering at his throat, Ula's voice came out strained but urgent. "You're watching footage from the human home system." "Brackus," the Empress said quietly, "let him speak, as you command." But the room had already fallen silent because the video was speaking for itself. Even so, Ula made sure there was no misunderstanding. "What you're seeing now," he said gravely, "was recorded from humanity's homeworld." The display showed what first appeared to be hundreds of tiny glowing dots scattered across space. But a closer look revealed the truth. These weren't stars or sensor glitches. They were ships. Each of those dots, Ula explained grimly, is a vessel roughly the size of the Cairo. There were thousands of smaller ships too, but they were too small to register clearly from this distance. For a long moment, Fleet Master Brackus said nothing. He simply stared, stunned, until he finally whispered the question on everyone's mind. I thought you said humans only had 10 supercarriers. Ula cut him off without hesitation. 228. That's the exact count, even though he had expected it. The reality of that number still left Ula struggling for words. Then, the star visible behind the fleet began to dim, not due to any natural phenomenon, but because something massive was entering the frame. A truly enormous ship moved into view, its shadow consuming the starlight until the entire projection went dark. The room fell silent. That, Ula said softly, is a supercarrier, and they have 10 that we know of. Fleet Master Brackus had to sit down to avoid collapsing. The Empress gripped a railing beside her, her claws digging into the metal as she tried to steady herself. How much do we know about these supercarriers? She asked. Ula hesitated, then answered with visible dread. What we call supercarriers, the humans call light assault craft. He let the weight of that statement settle before finishing. The Grand Imperial Fleet, our entire might, could be carried, supplied and deployed from a single human supercarrier strike group. The Empress slowly turned toward him, her expression hollow, her eyes wide. What are we supposed to do now? Ula didn't pause this time. Anything, Your Majesty. Anything that doesn't result in us finding out exactly how many more supercarriers humanity has. The Empress gave one last look at the darkened hologram where the human fleet still hovered like a silent, unstoppable wave. Then she clicked her mandibles once in quiet acceptance. Thank you, Scoutmaster. Your report has been invaluable. That will be all.